Anyone playing Marathon knows Ceti IV is a dangerous place. Whether it's hazardous flora, murderous UESC robots, or your fellow runners, every raid in Bungie's new extraction shooter comes with an ever-present danger that your run can end suddenly and violently. That's why we've put together these 6 tips to help you get started on the right 3D printed foot. Here's our beginner tips for Marathon. There's nothing wrong with dropping straight into Marathon and looting everything in sight. However, we suggest focusing on your faction contracts, first and foremost. Factions are who you purchase items from, and they offer some of the best early gear as rewards as you complete their quests and rank them up. Cyber Acme, or CYAC, will assign you contracts that help you meet these other factions. When it comes to completing these quests, make sure you pay attention to whether or not you need to extract successfully, or if you can just complete a few tasks in the field. Many will have a specific objective point you need to reach, like a terminal to hack. These can be tough to find as they won't be marked for you, and you'll need to look around in the area designated. However, when you're within 10 meters of the goal, an icon will appear on screen, right here. If all else fails and you can't find what you need, running around and waiting for that to pop up may be your best option. It wouldn't be an extraction shooter without the extraction component. In Marathon, these begin to appear 5 minutes into a map. They come in a few types. Your standard extraction is usually your best bet to escape with minimal resistance, while guarded exfils will drop enemies to make your escape more challenging. Once a beacon is activated, it takes 60 seconds to charge before it can send you, or any other runners in its radius, home. Once an extraction point is activated, it fires a bright beacon into the air, which can bring unwanted attention from other runners. That's why it's often best to activate a beacon, then find someplace nearby to hide. If you watch the clock in the corner, you can time exactly when you need to make a run for the circle. This can also be handy if you're trying to piggyback off another runner's extraction, slipping in just in time to catch a ride on their exfiltration.
Self-degradation over time.
Often, you'll drop in at one location and have an objective on the opposite side of the map. Before you start sprinting around, there's a few things you should know. First, your runner shell isn't actually a person. It doesn't get tired in the conventional sense. Instead, it builds up heat which can take a while to dissipate. However, if you stand in water or find yourself in a rain shower, you'll see a little temperature gauge appear with an arrow pointing down. This is an indicator that thanks to the weather or water, you're shedding that heat more quickly. This means anytime you're on a long trek, it's worthwhile to steer towards water if you have an opportunity. The other thing you should do is stow your weapon. That may seem a bit counterintuitive in a world where pretty much everything wants to kill you, but you run considerably faster with your knife. It doesn't take much time to pull out your gun if you need to, and generally you have a better chance of staying alive longer by spending less time running around out in the open. Resources are tight on Ceti, especially when it comes to ammo, but there are 2 solid ways to keep yourself from running dry or going broke buying bullets. First, make sure when you choose weapons, you're selecting options that use different ammo types. This makes sure you don't run empty on both your weapons at once, and means it's more likely that any ammo you find in the field will fit your need. Second, bring some ammo crates with you. Ammunition is expensive and can cost you 200, 300, or even 600 credits for a single stack. Or, you could buy a single ammo crate for 200 credits and get a stack of several different ammo types at once. There's nothing wrong with starting a mission and immediately dropping several cases to load you and your teammates up, and even considering what weapons your teammates are bringing so you won't always be taking ammo that someone else needs. One of the most important tools at your disposal is your shield. These can make all the difference between standing tall at the end of a proper gunfight and an early end to your run. Unfortunately, no vendors sell them at the start, and you'll want to rectify that as soon as possible. Start by focusing on your CYAC faction quests, and look for an option called Introducing New Caloric. This will send you to Perimeter to collect an employee ID and download some employee data. Grab the ID by sneaking in through the roof of this tick-infested building, then grab the data from the nearby terminal.
confirmed as Dr. Tobias Latero.
Completing this unlocks New Caloric as a faction you can level up with. Prioritize them early, because reaching level 5 with New Caloric unlocks the ability to purchase an upgrade that lets you buy their enhanced shields in the armory. Get them to level 20, and you can buy the even stronger Deluxe shield implants. If you don't want to risk bringing your good equipment into the field and losing it, or a string of bad luck has you destitute and looking to restock, there are a few good spots we highly suggest checking out. The hauler on Perimeter is a solid destination. It can be a bit dense with UESC, so come prepared to fight, but it frequently has multiple valuable containers, like weapons cabinets, to loot. Similarly, if you're on Dire Marsh, check out Quarantine. This is the far west edge, and is often well stocked with decent weapons and gear. Just watch out for the Claymore mines, as these are also happy to ruin a runner's day. These are just a few beginner strategies in Marathon you can use to try and get a quick leg up. More than anything, success takes perseverance. A failed run isn't just a possibility, it's an inevitability, and having the fortitude to overcome that is the biggest strength a runner can have. For more Marathon tips and tricks, be sure to check out our Marathon wiki. And for everything else, stick with IGN.